So, hey, hi, and hello. Welcome to the first brand new, shiny AMPED podcast brought to you by The Warren. This is hopefully the first of many more to come. Today we've actually got the AMPED team in with us, which I'm a part of, here to share and talk to you about what AMPED really is and how you yourselves can get involved. So without further ado, let's roll it.
That's all right, it's fine.
Sorry.
So let's start. So we've all been here, what is it now? A month?
7 weeks.
7 weeks, yeah.
Has it been 7 weeks already?
Already?
Yeah, like 2 months, yeah.
So, 7 weeks, AMPED initiative. Yeah, let's talk about it.
Industries.
Creative industries, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. So, AMPED, what is it?
It is a...
Well, no, look. So, the AMPED initiative is a creative industries initiative helping young people to get into... to build the skills to get into the creative industries, but also the transferable skills to get into education, re-engage with education, training and employment. So it's all about giving them the space to explore their own skills, self-evaluation, self-realisation of their potential and skills going into the creative industries or going into education or employment, training, but through creative means.
Yep.
That's how I see it anyway. I don't know what you guys, how you see it.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
we were hired as the music production team, but that kind of, it wasn't what we're about, is it? Like music, it's the creative industries, if people don't know, is everything that falls under that umbrella of like music, arts, drama, writing, social media, graphic design, like anything you can think of that's kind of like within the creative industries.
Creative industries are a massive industry as it is.
It's too broad to, yeah.
I think it brings 1.1 billion pound, 101.1 billion. I can't remember, but it's a lot.
Big money.
It's a lot of money into the economy. So, and it's a growing industry. It's the only industry that's grown since the recession. So,
I think also that people might go to a gig and look at a band and think, oh, that's a band on stage, but you don't realise all the other roles that have gone into that, all the other marketing that's gone into that, and the amount of jobs that are out there for people. So.
Especially like even in Hull, where we are now, there's theatres where there's work for sound, lighting, design, that young people might not think about as a potential career to go into. And it's 101 billion, that's what it is. 101 billion pounds into the economy.
And creative industries might just be your passion, though. It might be that you're a solid accountant and actually what you want to do is fill your personal time with something really meaningful and learn a new skill, or you might want to build your confidence or have an outlet for something that's really troubling you. So it could be that playing the ukulele is your therapy and that's how you want to be. You want to meet other people who want to play the ukulele with you and use that as a powerful tool for self-expression. Yeah. So there's no real limit in that to how you could be involved in creative industries. It could be that you want it for your career, or it could be that it's just the way you want to spend your time, and that's equally valid as far as I'm concerned.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like I say, it's those transferable skills through creative means. So through doing something you really enjoy, you're building that self-confidence, you're building those vocational skills, those transferable skills to help you in everyday life, go on to training, education, employment. That's what the AMPED initiative is.
Yes. So yeah, like I was saying, we came in as the music production team, but we've renamed ourselves to be called AMPED. So I guess we should talk a little bit about where that name came from and why we called it that, what it stands for, etc., etc. So it was actually Scott.
Yeah, Scott, hiding in the corner there.
You came up with like amplified, because that's what we were doing. We were taking somebody who has a certain skill and we were like amplifying that and making it bigger. And then I kind of shortened that down to AMPED. And I think it was you that came up with the always making progress, which is like AMP, which just so happened to fit the letters that we used. It's quite a cool brand. I'm quite proud of it.
And it fits the wider Warren ethos about making yourself heard and having a voice that's worth hearing. So there's something really validating about that for a lot of the young people that present to the Warren. They've had experiences in, say, traditional education or in the job search area where they felt like they weren't valid, or they felt like they weren't heard or listened to, or that what they were wasn't enough. So if we can project them forward and amplify their talents.
Nicely done.
See what I did there?
Nicely done.
Yeah, there's something really hopeful about that, and we need a bit more of that, surely.
Yeah, definitely, I'd say. And so how we sort of are going to do that, I guess, like the structure of everything, which is, I guess, your forte, right?
Well, yeah, the structure, because we don't want it to seem like college or school. So our structure is to have small, accessible workshop sessions around all the different skills that all of us bring, which we'll probably talk about in a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing in, giving that space for the young people to explore what it is they want to do in regards to disciplines or skills they want to learn. So first thing, getting these workshops, getting them interested in something, let them explore what they want to do, and then let that organically transform into a project.
We don't want to intimidate them by being like, oh, come in and you have to do this lesson, you have to learn about this music theory, you have to do what I say. It's more, I mean, the Warren as a whole is led by young people anyway, and that's very much what this project I think is about, is if they've got an interest, an inkling in something, they play a little bit guitar in their bedroom, or they've always wanted to play drums or something like that. I'm just using bands and instruments as an example, but like we can ask them, well, what is it exactly you want to learn? Now, we have a wide variety of skills just between ourselves, but I think we can get professionals within the industry to come in and actually do stuff that we don't have the skills for, basically just trying to make that.
With the way it's structured as well, I think it's really interesting that because we're giving them that space, they might come in, you might get someone who just plays a bit of guitar, who's interested in music, wants to build their confidence, but through seeing all the different workshops that were on offer, they start to realise, oh, actually, I never thought about going into that, or going into somewhere like into that kind of area, sound design or lighting or computer music or electronic music. So it gives them that option, gives them that chance and that opportunity to explore different areas as well, without feeling like they've stuck in having to do that. Like you go to college, you sign up for a specific project,
and that's all you do
or qualification. Where here they get to,
jump.
I don't want to say pick and mix, but it's kind of like pick and mix different areas.
From my point of view, when I was designing the branding for it as well, that's where that came from. Is like you said it the other day, Faye. Like you looked at it and you wanted people to think that there's something in there for me. Yeah. Like amongst all that colour, amongst all those different things, there's got to be something in there for me that I can do. And I guess that's what it is. That is what we're about. Is like you come to us with the excitement and the passion for it, and we'll sort of amplify that up to make it bigger and better.
Ooh,
you tell us how you are creative, and we've got a forum for that, and we've got a platform that we can, we can project you on with. There's no limit to how young people in this city and further can be creative. So whether it's creative writing and you're a poet, or whether you've spat some bars and you want to market it and you want to make it your first EP, you could go from any end of the spectrum and end up at uni or end up stage designing for a great big band. You never know where it's going to take you.
And that excites me for the young people as well, that they have that opportunity. So
I think it's worth kind of seeing you don't have to have a creative hat on.
No.
If you're just kind of a bit lost and you don't know what you're doing and you've gone to college and you're thinking, there's nothing really jumping out for me from this perspective or whatever, just come in and have a little chat to us.
We should mention that it's open office, so you have to book an appointment. You can just come in 5 days of the week and come up into the office and talk about it. But we should probably move on to talk a little bit about ourselves, seeing as we've not really introduced ourselves yet.
Can we not just introduce ourselves as we're all awesome?
Well, if that's what you think.
They already knew.
Yeah. But I mean, I'll throw it over to you again, Ryan, to sort of like talk about yourself, which you're good at.
Obviously, I suppose I head up this team, but there's no head of this team. We're all cool. Now I come from an educational background, so I've been lecturing music production for many years now. But this is a whole new area for me. But I really like the idea of making that space for young people to be able to explore their own talents. I think that's good. But I come from a musical background as well. Played in bands, toured Europe a couple of times. Had my record sold in Japan. But enough about me. But
what kind of like workshops are you going to be more focused on to be sort of giving the young people?
So my passion and my skills lie in live sound production and around events production, because that's something I've done for many years. But also I really like sound design as well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
being someone who, I'm a drummer, but being someone who can't actually physically play like a guitar, well, I can play guitar, but playing some like composition sort of stuff, I like to build compositions through different kinds of sounds and different tonal qualities of different objects. So that's what I get really passionate about, the sound design area of it, like Foley and stuff.
Yeah, like how to make laser sounds for films and
Laser sounds.
And beyond that.
Yeah, and creating soundscapes for like computer games, which is a massive area, massive industry at the moment. With computer games getting more and more like cinema in some ways, getting more cinematic.
Oh, definitely. The way they've gone about like face capturing like the actors for games now, which was never done before.
Yeah, using live actors as well for stuff like. But yeah, so that's what I get really passionate about. I also get really passionate about the recording side of stuff, being in the studio recording, all the sciencey sort of stuff about all the microphones and stuff, the placements and all that sort of I mean, like you traditional stuff and that. So well, yeah, but podcasting as well. Obviously, it's something I'm really interested in. I just like what I really like about music and recording. I'm gonna get a bit deep here, guys. But what I really like is that capturing a moment in time. I really like that, and does when it's organic. You capture that moment. I think it's really special, and being able to capture it and teach other people how to capture it, fantastic.
Yeah, cool. I agree with you on all of that. Actually, I think it's quite like you take it for granted. I think being able to like actually capture a picture, actually capture a bit of video, and we're just spat at it so much these days, where you see it all over the place, and that you kind of lose touch with the fact that that's so cool that you can actually film this now, and actually hold it in time for quite a long period.
Yeah, it's like a time machine. I love it.
I also not really heard anyone sort of say that recently.
I love how music is transcendent as well. How it can take you, well, not just music, but like soundscapes in general. How they can take you somewhere else, like even to a moment in your life, or to a whole new level. Like if you have soundscape for a film, just take it on an emotional level somewhere totally different, and I really like that. That's what I get really passionate about. So that's what I'm going to be. That's what my workshops are all about, like live sound stuff, deepness. No, live sound, so deep, right? Live sound, events production, because obviously love events, and recording and being creative with sound.
Cool. Yeah, go on to you, and I guess
Hello, everyone.
Hi,
I'm the non-local person of the team, if you haven't already heard. So my background so I studied acting, and then I went into musical theatre. So I have a degree in musical theatre. Very posh, I know.
Yeah.
I've got a degree in jazz hands, as my dad says. And then I was in bands for a bit, but I was in party bands, so I wasn't in originals bands. I was in bands on cruises. I was in a duo for a little bit, again on cruises in hotels, and then I moved on to production cast, which is kind of the kind of musical theatre shows, but not musical theatre shows. So you do like a Michael Jackson show or a ABBA show or things like that. So yeah, singing, dancing and acting is my bag. And then I also love writing. So as I was doing that, because I was only working like a little bit of the day, I was writing for articles for websites and stuff and blogging, and now I've kind of got into script writing, and I write scripts now. So
I mean, you just had one accepted by someone as well.
I'm in meetings with people to get things made.
Oh, don't be modest.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so basically my kind of thing that you can learn from me, the workshops that I'll be putting on, is kind of singing, acting. I'm not really a dancer, but if someone wants to learn dance, I can
You've been bragging
teach
about
them
your
the basics.
worm
I can do
abilities.
the worm. I would do it now, but there's a table and
I can make
wires.
space.
I can't do it on the table. I'm not that clever. And also script writing, blogging, and article writing, I suppose, website content writing.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. I think now is probably a good time to just go to a little ad break that we've got for you.
Yeah, I'm going to do the ad for this week.
So yeah, we'll just fade into that.
This podcast is in association with The Warren, and this week we want to talk to you about another project that The Warren has created, 3 Minute Heroes. 3 Minute Heroes supports young people to get their thoughts down on paper and their voices heard. Their words are given to established bands and musicians local to Hull to create powerful and moving songs which are released worldwide through Warren Records. Phase 2 of the 3 Minute Heroes album is underway and will be released and available on the 31st of January 2020. The first single for this album is out now. It's called Nausea Fatigue and it's by Joe Russell Brown. Here's a short clip of that music video. Absolutely amazing. So that was filmed in the Warren by some young people, and obviously the idea was to do a lyric video. So if you want to see that video in full, please go to www.3minuteheroes.com.
That's a good video, isn't it? Joe Russell Brown.
Yeah.
Check it out. So back to us. My name's Robbie. I was hired to be in charge of social media and graphic design for AMPED, but also for the Warren as a whole. I come from like a music background, so I've been in loads of different bands as a drummer, and I then got interested in doing the promotion and the marketing and the artwork for my bands. And then that led me into trying to learn Photoshop and graphics and set up my own company, which did quite well over in York. And then I moved over to Hull to be closer to a family. And someone who used to work here recommended me for this job, and then I got it. It's probably been the best job that I've ever had in my life, really.
Oh,
7
nice.
weeks in.
Yeah, and then we're only 7 weeks in. I feel like we've just scratched the surface. But yeah, I'm super excited to be working with the young people, showing them the ropes on social media and graphics. It covers a whole load of things, really. It isn't just as simple as making this logo or whatever. I know that we talked about, you might have, for an example, a band come in and they're really good at the music side of it, but they have absolutely no idea how to market themselves or make an album cover and stuff. So the idea would be to introduce that to some of the young people. Maybe not the band themselves, but if they want to learn that and do it themselves, that's fine. But then to have people crossing over, we've just been teaching little Bobby over here who can now do album artwork for your band who are doing it. And so that's kind of how I fit in amongst trying to do things like this podcast, this banner, flyers, posters, logos,
Business cards,
that whole shebang of stuff. That's kind of me in a nutshell, really.
Nice.
exciting stuff.
What about you, Faye?
So my name's Faye. I've been working at the Warren for 3.5 years now. For me, since it feels like much longer and then much shorter at the same time. Quite bizarre. My specialism is a bit of a jack of all trades, so I'm a bit of a whiz with a CV and a covering letter. I'm real good for that stuff. I handle a lot of the paperwork, so I'll be handling a lot of the AMPED paperwork and making sure that we jump through the hoops that allow us to do the great work that we know we can do. I also have a particular focus on working with LGBTQ plus young people. So previously I've been part of running a confidential youth group at the Warren called Shout, which is for that demographic. We do loads of social stuff, fun stuff, games, the works. Funny noise.
Yeah, that didn't sound good. Whatever
That
that was.
probably
the
just
computer
means-
in the other room saying we can't back up on this
Yeah.
drive
Oh,
again.
right,
Yeah.
You'd be right.
Or an email coming through.
Low
Yeah.
disk
Or
space.
we just lose this entire podcast and you'll never see it.
Yeah, we are professional. Trust me.
Yeah.
Sorry, Faye. Go on.
It's all
continue.
right. So particularly specialise in working with LGBTQ plus young people. So that's my particular interest. I am part of the community, and therefore I've got a bit of a vested interest, because what you do see in creative industries is you see the LGBT community championed in places like theatre and dance and in art galleries, but there is a real disparity in the music industry, and nobody's quite sure why that is. It's quite male dominated, and typically there's some chauvinism, particularly high up at the top, maybe not at this grassroots level where we're doing the really good stuff, but as you work your way up through companies, through record labels, through PR, it gets a little bit more complicated, and there's less accepting people at the top. So that's the battle I'm fighting. I also particularly enjoy doing musical activities that promote positive mental health. So not theory-based stuff, but say Ukulele Club is something I started in the Warren. We all just have a play, bring your instrument along, borrow one, and we learn what we want to play. We have a good time. We support each other and enjoy it. Other than that, I'm heading up some spoken word activity. So yeah, going to be doing some really cool work in partnership with Hull Uni and with some featured poets there. We've got a great history doing spoken word at the Warren and making some really powerful campaigns, so I'm really excited to sort of carry on that legacy, as it were, and create a new generation.
Nice. Lots of stuff. Lots of good
Are
stuff
you going to be
going on
doing
there.
paperwork workshops?
Not if I can help it. Unless you
I really wanna-
particularly wanted to sign up, Robbie.
Only for us
Get me
guys.
involved.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to do some more paperwork.
Yeah.
So that just leaves us with you,
Oh, yeah.
Scott, the silent baddie over there in the
Silent
corner.
baddie.
So I'm Scott, and also known as End of Level Baddie. I've been making music for about 25 years now, which sounds a lot.
Surely
Get
you're
on.
not that old.
All sort of self-taught drummer, self-taught producer, and I self-taught DJ,
Self-taught baddie.
self-taught baddie.
You
But
play some-
I believe in that music making shouldn't be hard, or getting ideas, generating ideas and turning them into something is a lot easier than you think. You don't need to have mastered any particular instrument or software or know everything about everything to start making yourself feel better through doing something creative. So I champion that side of things, particularly more along the lines of electronic music, because I think it's much more easier to pick up and transfer skills from and to like computer-based music.
It's cool from what you said to me, was just being able for a young person to be able to come in, push some buttons and instantly make sounds at that basic level was just like a real different approach on like
Yeah,
music, I think.
like I think if you hand someone some drumsticks, they sort of go ooh, and they don't
Yeah.
want to. If you give someone a guitar, they're sort of but you just show them some lights and buttons and go, look, this knob does this, and yeah. I think results can come a lot quicker through electronic music.
Instant gratification, isn't it?
Yeah, and we've had quite a lot of interest in that side of it already, so
Yeah.
I'm quite busy. But as well as that, I can DJ. As soon as we get the other room up and running, we'll be starting to run some sort of regular DJ workshops on top of the ones that are already happening at the Warren. And I've also spent many years running events and working at bigger events like big international festivals and things like that behind the scenes. So I've got sort of like a good grasp of if you're a musician, how the backstage sort of stuff happens, and the sort of level stage management and artist liaison, that kind of thing. And also being an artist, I've know how good practice when you turn up at a venue, and all the sort of things you should do and remember to do, and that's about it, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're a pretty diverse team, aren't we? Really, like none of us had ever really met properly, and we all sort of come from different backgrounds and offer like a wide variety of different things, which I guess is why we were put together in the first
Definitely.
place. We went out the other Friday just gone, didn't we? It was like the first sort of staff team drinks that we've had. But like it was all pretty.
7 weeks it took us to get that in the diary.
Well,
7
we've been busy
weeks.
setting this up, haven't we? So
It's a testament to our hard work.
I think so too. Yeah.
But we all get on, and I think that's the best part about it. You know,
Definitely.
really, like we're becoming quite good friends over it.
Oh,
And that
how kind.
all right, or am I just on my own in that one? Oh,
When Robbie leaves the room, we're like,
Yeah, let's talk about it.
no, cheers.
jokes.
But yes,
So-
go on.
I was just going to move it on a little bit.
Yeah, shift it along.
It's just, we could talk about our friendship. But, so how do young people get involved with this then?
Yeah. So I guess the main criteria is you have to be between 16 and 25 years of age.
No.
Up to 29 by appointment.
Yeah.
We can do up to
okay.
29 by appointment. There's very few hard and fast rules. One of them is being in a whole postcode.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of exceptions to that, but bear in mind that The only thing that really stops you working with us is not wanting to work with us. So by and large, there are some people that we'll work with that will be eligible for a bit of budget. Some people who don't fit all of our eligibility criteria but are actually mega enthusiastic and still want to get involved and they've got something to offer, we've still got time for you. There is a way that you can be part of this initiative, even if we don't do a bit of paperwork with you, even if we don't end up being able to claim a bit of budget for you. But those of you that are in the age range, that are in that postcode area and that are unemployed or not in education and training, there's a little bit extra added value we can attach.
Well said. Yeah.
Yeah, well said.
And because of we talked about it being open office before, we are based at the Warren, which is opposite the Queen's Fountain in the Queen's Gardens.
And the BBC building.
The BBC building, yeah.
We're Artemis.
That's where our offices are. We're on the first floor, up the stairs on the first floor. And you can just come in and have a chat with us. There's one of us always in the office at all times. You might find Scott in the studio. We're actually in the live room for that right now. And yeah, you can come up and just have a good old chat about what it is you want to do. Alternatively, you could email us at amped@thewarren.org, or you could phone us on 01482 218 115. But we do encourage you to just come in, drop in, and come and have a chat, because
quite nice.
Yeah, we're quite cool to be around.
I think you don't understand what the atmosphere or what we do until you've actually come in the building.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So
because you don't even have to get involved with this if you just want to come to the Warren.
Yeah, alongside what AMPED offers, the Warren offers so many different things, and so you're bound to find something you kind of want to get involved in the building in some way, shape or form.
And if you do want to get involved and you may be feeling a bit intimidated by the Warren, if it feels like a big building, you've never been before, what we can do is we can meet you somewhere else. So we can meet you on your terms, whether that's at Cafe Nero, Costa, or somewhere close in the town centre, and we can have that chat and we can express that vibe with you so that you can see exactly what we've got to offer before you maybe make that commitment that might feel like a big step coming into the Warren. It's not, but it can feel like it, and that's all right too.
Yeah, and I think now's probably a good time to plug our new group on Facebook as well.
Yes.
So yeah, we didn't want to go down the same route of just starting a Facebook page separate. The Warren already has its own social media account, so instead we've created a group within that page. If you go to the Warren's Facebook, which is Facebook /The Warren YP, you'll find the AMPED group in there, which you can request to join, answer a few questions. One of us, which are the moderators, will accept you in, or not if you're unsuccessful, not cool enough. But yeah, the idea behind that group is to have a wide range of people that are all into something in the creative industries, and it's kind of a forum for them to kind of discuss and talk. Like, is someone out there a guitar player? Is someone out there doing sound for this? And we'll kind of encourage you to chat amongst yourselves. And also we'll be posting updates in there, like regular competitions, as well as updates of local events that we're doing, workshops that are happening. I mean, that's the kind of place to be if you want to hear about it. I think this podcast will go in there as well.
Yeah. If you want to get involved with this podcast as well.
Yes, yeah. This first one is just a bit of a tester between us lot. We decided it'd be a good idea to do it, and then the next one we're actually going to get young people involved in setting this up, miking it up. Hopefully the level of quality will increase.
There's someone downstairs already asked.
What do you mean?
Oh yeah, yeah.
As soon as I went downstairs and said we were doing a podcast, I had a young person go, "Is there a way I could get involved in that?" So we've already got one on the list.
And that's how the Warren works.
Exactly.
Which is brilliant.
So yeah, I think that's probably enough about AMPED. Kind of covered everything there. So yeah, with these podcasts, we're going to sort of sign off the same way every time, talking about the Warren as a whole, because we mention it a lot and maybe people just don't quite understand what it is or what it actually does. So I don't know if anyone wants to take the reins on that and kind of explain. Faye, you've been here the longest.
Yeah. We're all looking at you,
I felt
Faye.
like that was coming. So just make sure I don't miss anything out, because I've been here so long now. I feel like I know what goes on in the building. I almost miss stuff out because it's just in my head already. So the Warren's Youth Support Agency, we've been in the city for over 20 years now. It's quite a legacy to have. We offer a range of support services for young people, as well as just a space to be. So
and it is a range.
The range is quite astounding, but it's important to note that if you just are 16 to 25 and need a space to be without spending any money, the Warren you can be at. You don't have to have a reason to come here. However, if you do have something you want to talk about, there's probably a space for that, because we've got a free-to-access counselling service, which you can access from the age of 14 up to your 26th birthday. We have, as part of that service, we have a massage therapist who also does aromatherapy and Reiki. She's really, really talented.
Damn good.
She's great, and if you can get in before the staff do, because she's fantastic. We do take
also
appointments up.
We have the counselling and massages. I know that the NHS are really strained, and the waiting lists for things like that are very, very long. We still do have a waiting list, but it's just not as long. So.
Yeah, and it's person-centred. It's a little bit different, so there's no sort of time limit on that. So if you want to see them every week until you turn 26, you can do that.
And there's no pressure as well.
No, you talk about what you want to talk about. It's really open, and you can just pop in there and speak to one of them, make an appointment, or you can call up. They've got a direct line that's available on our website. We have access to a food bank as well. We're aware that there is an issue with food poverty in Hull, and lots of food banks require referrals and proof, and they're means tested. You can get vouchers for those food banks at the Warren through the counselling service. However, we have our own smaller food bank that you could access every day if you needed it. So we don't ask you to tell us how much you need it. You don't have to prove yourself. If you come in and you're hungry, we can sort that out. We have
kitchen's just been redone as well.
We
isn't
have.
It? So
We're going to be providing hot meals through winter as well at a very nominal price, something like £1, £2 a head, something more affordable. However, if someone was hungry, we're not about to turn someone away who's hungry either. It's not really in the ethos. We've got an employability project. The Achieve project is part of the Youth Employment Initiative, same as AMPED, except it's not as niche. So Achieve is for anyone requiring any sort of support back to work, back to education, employment, or an apprenticeship, whatever that looks like. But there's
CVs.
It's not limited to creative industries. So you could be a builder or want to be a builder and go there, and they'd have someone really specific to help you with that. Yeah. Really cool stuff. We've also got a young carers group. So if you are a young carer or you know a young carer, it's a social and respite group. They go to trips, they go to Pizza Express, they go bowling. It's a really good social space to be not a carer for a couple of hours a week. We've got confidential LGBTQ plus group. That's the Shout group. That's for anyone identifying as part of the LGBTQ plus community. It's a lot of letters, I'm very aware. Anyone aged 14 to 26th birthday, once again, you can attend that group. And it's a fantastic social space. Build some skills, meet some people who just know what it's like to be you.
Yeah, and made to be quite confidential.
Absolutely. So you can come along to Shout if you're not out to anyone.
We don't advertise the times that it's on.
We don't advertise when it runs. You have to come through a member of staff. But if you just ring the main Warren line, if you're interested, someone will speak to you about that. It's a fantastic project. It receives no funding. However, it is the longest running LGBT youth group in the area. Like by a good country mile.
That's amazing.
Yeah, started in 1997.
It did.
I was 7.
Yeah.
Wow.
When that started.
Yep. This is all. It's just a bit younger than me. Weird indeed.
What's how old I was?
Oh, showing ourselves up now.
Yeah.
Can Do project is a campaigning project, and they also do all sorts of diversionary activities, arts and crafts workshops, making your own gifts workshops when it comes up to Christmas and Halloween. Can Do also do campaigns around social justice, issues like housing benefit, the benefit system, universal credit. If you've got a viewpoint, there's a campaign for you.
Yeah, they recently just did that digital footprint campaign.
Yeah, they're doing Defend Digital Me. That's a fantastic project looking at young people's rights and data and how that's used and where it goes and who gets it. Really interesting stuff. And they also do a lot of trips out. So they do the yearly beach trip. They do
Hallow Scream.
Which has just been, at York Maze. That's great.
You were part of.
And every trip that you do with Can Do is totally free. We never charge a young person for any activity that goes on at the Warren. What else we got? We've got DJing, we've got music lessons. There's almost no limit to what could happen at the Warren because they're governed by young people. So young people decide what activities happen here in full.
I think it's also fair to say that, it is fair to say, anybody that comes on to one project can get involved with any project.
It's your route in to access
so if
anything
you come on
and
to
everything.
Achieve, you can still come and do workshops with AMPED.
Oh yeah, you're not limited
and
in
vice
that
versa.
sense.
Yeah.
So, which I think is just fantastic, that flexibility for young people.
Yeah, I was overwhelmed with the amount of stuff that it actually offers. When I just thought it was the Warren, I just thought it was like one specific thing. They just like young support group.
We're a
kind
bit of an
thing, but-
enigma in that if we don't have the service, we know who does.
Yeah.
It's one thing
Yeah.
we're very good at is knowing exactly where to find that really specific piece of support that you need.
I
So
guess
whatever it is,
The name Warren sort of speaks for itself, doesn't it? 'Cause you
Warren
kind
by
of-
name, Warren by nature.
Warren,
Yeah.
like the rabbit hole, and you just keep going. And the building's like that as well. You kind of keep walking,
Yes.
there's doors left and right, and there's something going on in sort of every room. So yeah, I think amongst all those sort of projects they have to offer, we also have our own record label here, which is
Yeah.
Warren Records, which has done a lot for young and upcoming artists in the past. We also have a record store, which is actually at the building right next door. It's attached to the same building, but it's sort of separate next door, and that's open to the public. Is that 5 days a week?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Tuesday to Saturday.
Tuesday to
11 till
Saturdays.
4, I think.
Except from a Saturday, it shuts at 5.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, and we have like records in there. We have young people who are in bands and things. We put their stuff in for sale in there as well.
Merch.
We're
Get
also a
your
talent
merch.
development partner as well,
Yeah.
PRSF. So if you are particularly, we work with artists that are up and coming, so we can give support, guidance, and financial help as well.
It's kind of a venue as well, so we'll throw
Yeah.
those acts on to play their first gig, or sometimes like they've had quite a lot of gigs. They can actually hire out that place for free, which is like a running theme. But yeah, they can play in the Warren Records store. Sam, who isn't here, we will get him involved in another podcast soon, but he will talk a little bit more in depth about that. But yeah, so I guess that kind of wraps it up. It's the first AMPED podcast of hopefully many to come. This one was just about us as a team, but we are going to move on to a more wider subjects. Like I said already, we'll do one about Warren Records as a whole.
Do you mean we're not just going to talk about ourselves every week?
Oh, no,
No.
unfortunately.
You're not invited next week.
All right, thanks.
But
Too much
yeah,
airtime.
we'll invite young people to be a part of this podcast. So I hope it hasn't been too boring. I hope you guys have all had a good time as well.
Yep.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
thrilled.
First podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
out the way. Nice one. All right, cool guys. All right, cheers, Matt. See ya.